His opponent in the top right-hand side in the red, representing Germany, it is Team Liquid's TLO.
Yes,
Now, an
it is. Sorry, go on.
interesting matchup here for us. TLO obviously already eliminated from this Group B with a 1-5 record. There's simply no way for him to go on. Now, MaSa is again one of those very, very edge cases. Under extreme circumstances, he may be able to qualify for the bracket stages after this. He's currently sitting at 3-3. A win here, essential. And he's pretty much got to win 2-0 and hope that Asuna and Future both lose. Or one of them loses at least.
Yeah, he is in definitely one of those awkward scenarios where you don't control your own destiny, but I mean, you just got to play your own game. You got to play the best you can and see what you can do. Everdream is one of those maps that this kind of parade push style, these pushes on the forward bases are really difficult to deal with. Oh, look at this. MaSa going for a fake proxy racks right here, representing that. And he is going to be building this fake bunker, just trying to get a reaction out of TLO.
TLO, though, doesn't look like he's taken the bait, actually. Only two lings coming out here. Not a lot more coming out from here. Looks like we've got, let's see, 2 more queens coming out as well. But yeah, I don't think TLO's taking this bait at all. It looks like he is not going to overproduce anything. The Reaper here, but the SCV picked off already, and TLO should be just fine.
Yeah, this is a nice start for TLO. A little bit of an awkward decision. Oh no, some missed micro right there from TLO, accidentally target firing the unbuildable plates, and he does lose both Zerglings. And a pretty, I would say, scrimping build here to start things off for MaSa. TLO, by the way, continuing to mine gas during all of this, so very much an off-standard build coming out from TLO.
Chat is saying they can't hear me, Steadfast. I'm not sure if that's something you've already looked into. Either way, TLO doing a pretty good job here, saving that drone for the third base, and the Reaper now pushing across to try and keep it honest and make sure it doesn't uncreate that extractor and move on to create the base at the 3 o'clock position. MaSa, though, staying on 2 bases and just adding on his starport now.
All right, so it looks like it's only during the intro. So I, of course, did not adjust my audio files. I created a few new scenes for this, so we'll probably just have me do the full intro, I guess, between games.
Yeah, that's just fine. No problem. I'll sit here and look pretty.
There you go. Unfortunately, no one will be able to see it, but I'll see it, and that's all that matters.
That's okay, Steadfast. Well, we already have a Lair Tech coming out from TLO, and that's certainly going to matter here. Lair Tech and a Roachborn. Looks like Speed Roach is out of TLO. Now, he hasn't re-put that third base down. Is that a fake out right now for MaSa? Is he going to go into some sort of crazy 2-base play?
I'm thinking we're going to see a Nidus Worm potentially here. There we go, just as I say it. He's on 3 gases right now, going for these roaches, trying to kind of keep MaSa occupied with these Zerglings here. Well, we're going to have to see. Oh, wow. Nice micro from MaSa there. Good target fire on the Lings, and we'll take those down very, very quickly. Now, Banshees are going to be quite good against this Nidus Worm play. How many queens do we have? Only 3. That is going to make things a little bit tricky to deal with here.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry, Steadfast. It's been a long day, buddy. Just fighting one more yawn off before we end things out. Roach is now on the way, but the Nidus Worm now coming down. And as you said, only 3 queens, which means that Cloak on those Banshees is going to be exceptionally valuable. We've got to see more queens coming out. The Nidus Worm back home for MaSa looks like it might actually go up. I'm not quite sure. There it is. Barely going to get taken down, I think, by that Banshee and will not be able to go. So there, the next Nidus Worm does come out outside the natural, but MaSa should feel very good right now about defending that first one. Very important hold.
Yeah, no, that was really, really solid right there from MaSa. And, well, TLO is going to still try and do this from outside of the natural expansion. MaSa's bunker, a little bit late, but I still feel like he is in a pretty solid position in this game. But it is going to all come down to the micro here. These Banshees already getting some, wow, pretty decent shots. No detection here, and one of those queens going down. Oh, my God, this is so bad for TLO.
Not just that the queens went down, but he was forced to recall into that, or retreat, rather, into that Nidus Worm, and now the second Nidus out in the natural is his only hope. He's got to drop one more in the main here. I love that he's rotating the Night Eye around, getting more worms out, but the Queen Transfuses have been absolutely immaculate from TLO here. Very nice Queen Micro sneaking in and then back out of that Nidus Worm. Finally loses one more, but now the pressure's going to continue up in the main.
Yeah, already 6 workers have gone down, and I do believe Roach Speed just finished up. That's going to actually make this very difficult to deal with. The Roaches are going to get right on top of the tanks, and oh man, MaSa, it looked at first like he was completely in control of this game, but this is very quickly spiraling out of control, and he's in a lot of trouble right now.
The big problem is that TLO doesn't have any of those queens left. He's building 2 more back home, and he almost certainly will send those into the Nidus right away. He's got to against these Banshees. The Banshees don't have enough energy to cloak again, really. So once those Banshees try and engage, the queens will be able to pick them down pretty quickly. But again, we're seeing more lost mining time, and it seems like it's whack-a-mole here for MaSa. When one worm goes down, the next one pops up in the main. Unfortunately for him, he's just losing too much right now. Another tank gonna go down.
Yeah, and that was really the linchpin of his defense. He does have these 3 Banshees. Well, 2 Banshees, 1 more about to join up. Ooh, nice takedown on that Nidus network. And that means these queens are trapped. So, wow, that's actually a really, really big deal. Because eventually, MaSa is going to go for a counterattack. And not having 2 queens in this scenario back home is going to make that really, really difficult to deal with. And, well, I think the time for the counterattack is basically once these Banshees are repaired up.
Yeah, interesting choice from MaSa here, grabbing a 3rd base, letting that finish up. He will probably float that over, and yeah, gonna send the Banshees right across the map. Good read there, Stead. Well, hopefully send those Banshees right across the map. After once he gets the Overseer out, doesn't want to get Nidus wormed again.
Yeah, exactly.
4th Banshee now coming out from MaSa. That's insane, my dude. 4 Banshees. Heck, at this point, I expect to see Hyperflight Rotors from MaSa.
I don't think we're gonna see quite that level of commitment, but oh, is MaSa going to see these Roaches? Yes, he is. And these are all dead. They are... Oh, okay. Nice splits off from TLO. Making me a liar right there.
Hey,
thanks, Dario.
Time. Yeah. Hey, if anybody's going to trick us, it's gonna be TLO, who's now grabbing a 3rd base and a Spire. Is it straight for Corruptors here for TLO? Is that the right play, Steadfast?
I think he is going to be trying to go Mutas, but I don't know if that's going to work too well for him. This one supply depot in the front will actually get breached, and, well, with a tank at a high ground, it's going to be no problem, minimal damage. But these Banshees, depending on where the Spire is, they may just never let it complete. In fact, I think they have high potential to just end the game with the amount of damage they can output here.
Yeah, remember, guys, Banshees aren't just like a tricky, fun cloaked unit. They also do insane amounts of DPS, those double Banshee shots. Each Banshee shot does basically twice the damage it's supposed to because each one counts as 2 attacks. So crazy damage from the Banshees here. 1 going down, but 3 still alive, 1 barely out of here. And oh man, MaSa really, really wants to pick that Spire down. He's not quite going to make it, but you were right, Steadfast. Behind this, TLO building 9 Mutas. And MaSa, I'm a bit worried right now. Well, he has 16 Marines. I think he'll be all right. But man, 1 more Queen's going to go down for that last Banshee.
Yeah, it was a nice pickoff getting that additional Banshee, but the damage has been so extreme from MaSa on the counterattack. And he's even going to add a couple more drones to the notch on his belts. And back home, 1-1 on the way. Stim, done. Combat shields, nearly done. And turrets are going to be finished up in time. And even going to have one ready to prepare, ready to deal with this and keep this production safe.
Yeah, very well played by MaSa here. Very cautious play. We'll see if these Mutas can get some fancy patterns, get on top. There's not quite enough to 1v1 a missile turret, so TLO's got to be very, very cautious. But he's going to push in to the main base all the same and try and pick off anything he can, sneaking some kills in the mineral line.
Oh, he gets a little bit... that's a little bit risky from him. Doesn't know how many Marines there are, but he will be actually rewarded for his audacity. Does lose a Muta, but he picks off a few Marines, a couple of SCVs, and a tank. But now MaSa, look at the push that is coming TLO's way. And, well, this is going to be really difficult to deal with. TLO, though, actually has a really big army.
It's surprising to see so many Roaches on the field after TLO's done such a weird build and has thrown away so many Roaches as well. But that does mean that MaSa committed so much to the defense that this is just going to get cleaned up very easily. Only 3 drones going down, and now TLO's going to hope to swing this battle with a lot of Roaches on the ground and a fair few Mutalisks in the field. I think TLO's going to try and pressure this 3rd base and maybe take it down, or is he going to go straight to the natural? Wow.
Regardless of where he goes, he has to pretty much end the game with this. He is down a huge amount of workers, and, well, MaSa recognizes the scenario he's in. He is going to lift his command center. 1-1 is done for MaSa here. So if he can extend this game out a little bit longer, things will get, well, I mean, he'll be in a good spot, but TLO currently does have a pretty decent army supply lead. And MaSa has very little on the field.
This is a really weird place for both players, isn't it, Steadfast? I feel like we say that every game today, but a very strange place for both players. That Nidus Worm initially drawing a TLO like just enough damage where it wasn't a win, but it wasn't quite a loss either, which means the game has been extended into a very weird, what looks like a mid-game scenario, but it's happening at 11 and a half minutes. So both players way behind where they want to be. And I think you're right. TLO has realized he can't quite break this with what he has. Gonna retreat back home, gonna grab a fourth base, and look at that production tab for our certain player. Upgrades galore, bases galore, 7 more drones going down. TLO's gonna try and macro his way out of this, despite being behind in the income for the last 4 minutes this game.
Yeah, this has been such an awkward, weird game. Nice find from TLO right here. He's actually going to pick off 2 tanks. That is big damage. And MaSa actually going to be letting these mutas get out. Wow, that is really, really nice play from TLO. TLO, he's still in an economic disadvantage, but he has added on a few more drones, as you mentioned, and really given himself a fighting chance in this game.
Quick, Steadfast, without checking, how many tanks do you think TLO has killed this game?
6.
Absolutely correct. Incredible
nice.
guess there. Exactly 6 tanks have gone down, which means that MaSa has almost no splash damage. In fact, no splash damage in his army. First tank just being rebuilt here. The Ravagers are here, obviously, to drive away tanks, but there aren't that many out for TLO. TLO's going to catch, MaSa's going to catch a couple up on the back end. But now TLO coming up from the north side here. I love the changelings in the middle. Those are going to be used as cannon fodder here to drive back this Marine army just a little bit and buy TLO a bit of time, but he's not going to engage quite yet.
That was actually, those changelings were super value because TLO threw out a kind of Hail Mary corrosive bile, and MaSa, he was focus firing down the changelings, and he just stood in the corrosive bile and lost like 3 or 4 Marines. That was crazy.
Man, so weird. This game still seems to be like slightly in favor of MaSa, right? Don't be fooled by the worker count, by the way, guys. I don't know if you can pull up the income advantage graph, Steadfast, with 1 on your numpad there. But it should show you that MaSa's been ahead for most of the game, but TLO is actually coming back here. With that 4th base down, he's in a pretty decent spot economically, despite what the worker count says, and that's why his army supply is so good. He's in fact going to sandwich MaSa's army here in the middle and even get a good trade here. He's going to lose all the mutas, though. A very costly engagement there for TLO.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say is that MaSa, by utilizing his... nice little split off here from TLO. He is going to catch a tank and a couple of the reinforcements kind of without medevacs. But as MaSa inches closer and closer to 2-2, the timer for TLO does start to run out. Now, oh my god, we're going to see a full base trade actually from MaSa. He commits across the map with a huge amount of bio units, and now he's just going to try and hold back home. I think this is a great decision for MaSa.
Yeah, one of the best ways he'll be able to get out of here. He does have an economic advantage, and normally that means you want to play the game out, but I think in this case, he's just been under such good pressure.
Nice.
That tank shredding everything on the ramp. TLO stuck here, going through the meat grinder, finally going to break his way through, but MaSa also poking down on the natural of TLO here. This is going to be such a tight game here, Steadfast. I don't know who's going to win this one.
I think I am given a big advantage to MaSa right there, and he is going to take down game number 2. Number 1. My apologies. Sorry, I was just fiddling around with OBS. They cannot, unfortunately, for the moment. We're gonna work on getting that all fixed if we can. But yeah, we'll just fill for time. So a really nice game from MaSa there. TLO busting out a really tricky build attempt. Not quite going to be able to make anything magical happen with it, but still a solid performance from TLO, I would say, given the nature of how that went. Really solid performance from TLO. With that Nidus network, at first it looked like it wasn't going to get anything done, but it ended up getting quite a bit of damage done. And then when MaSa went for that big push, TLO was actually kind of expecting it, ready to receive it, and did an exceptionally good job of answering that. Just a really nice set of engagements and play from MaSa in that one. But TLO, like I said, a lot of creating win conditions for himself, and that's cool to see. And we're going to be getting into game number 2 on Eternal Empire in just a moment. And, well, in just a little bit, we will not have Creighton Olsen muted. He'll be back in a moment. Oh. All right, and here we go, spawning down in the bottom left position of Eternal Empire. It is representing Alpha X, the Blue Terran player, MaSa.
And his opponent in the top right-hand side in the red, from Team Liquid and Germany, it is TLO.
Like I said, looking pretty sharp in that last one. Yeah, just looking like he could have snuck the W there, but just not going to be enough. But yeah, you got to hand it to MaSa for being able to hold on there, getting up that 2-2, those 2-2 upgrades, I should say, and then ultimately just taking it down.
And what a like a ballsy decision, right? To move for the base trade, even when you have an economic advantage, realizing that that's going to be your best chance to win. So well done by MaSa at the end of that game. TLO kept it really spicy there, but fighting up that ramp into the main, just not going very well for him at all, losing everything in the meat grinder. And MaSa focus firing down very effectively back home, making sure that no reinforcements joined. I will say TLO making a bit of a mistake throwing away all those mutalisks in the early game, or the I guess early end game, whatever that time was. Throwing away all those mutants is a bit tough because it did reduce some of his chances of harassment and his tools to keep MaSa back at home. But no dice for TLO on those, and unfortunately losing the mutalisks going to be the death knell for the rest of his game. Quick scout from MaSa, make sure he's not getting 12 pooled, and is going to fake this bunker a second time. You think it's going to work this time, Steadfast?
Yeah, initially I did think that it was a fake out, but it seems like it's actually he just wants to get that up, and TLO he's like, no, I'm not going to let you. I'm not falling for it. I'm not going to allow you to do this. And well, it's probably a good thing. Probably a good thing to prevent that.
Definitely. He didn't manage to snipe the SCV this time, so the SCV will still be out. There's the cancel on the bunker, and the SCV is going to go for the engineering bay block. Wait, bunker block, pardon me, at the third there. This is great coordinated timing from MaSa, right? He's got the Reaper in here to distract these Lings and the drones for a little while longer, and the bunker block, which is only going to be revealed by the Overlord that's standing over the top of it right now. So that bunker is going to be all the way up here, and that's a very, very cheap block for MaSa, costing only 25 minerals, of course, once you're able to salvage it, and it slows you down so much. You get the Reaper in the bunker, and the Queen's got to be brought all the way over here. Just really annoying from MaSa, and I like to see that play quite a bit.
Yeah, anything that can disrupt your opponent's tempo is always going to be a good thing. I will say that, yeah, it's a really, really great decision. But now well, this is a little bit annoying for TLO. Or sorry, for MaSa, I should say. TLO kind of angling the Reaper away from that third base. And, oh, are we going to see the salvage? No, it does get killed. Salvage does not go off. And, well, now, oh, man, this Reaper getting real low on HP. And it is going to go down to the lane speed. Nicely done for TLO right there. A little bit of a W.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's an extra 75 minerals that MaSa wasn't planning on spending. Always slows you down a bit. Still cheaper, of course, than an engineering bay block, but a little frustrating to not quite get that micro off. And it's not necessarily just the minerals that are lost, but psychologically, it feels really crappy when you have something that should be as simple as timing out the salvaging of a bunker, and it just doesn't quite work. So, as you said, a bit of a W for TLO there, but MaSa not out of it just yet. Viking on the way from MaSa, but 4 Hellion's already out now. He's working on Stim, so he is going to go bio, but no additional production yet for MaSa, so he's taking it real slow this game. I don't expect to see a really early push from him.
I don't think necessarily a really early push, but we will see relatively probably around that 7-minute timing, 7 to 7:20, that 1-1, maybe a couple of tanks. It'll depend how many Hellions come out as well, but yeah, we're probably going to see potentially even a Hellion Liberator. No, he's going to go straight into the reactor. Okay, so just that Viking to clear out Overlords.
Which I kind of like. Clearing Overlords, always good. Gives you some map control, takes map control away from your opponent, and helps you surprise with stuff like this. A nice scan, actually, there from MaSa to clear out not 1, not 2, but 3 creep tumors, including the active one there. So that'll slow him down just a little bit and will force the queens from TLO into a more difficult position to try and get those tumors down. But again, these Hellions buying a lot of time for MaSa, allowing that creep to recede just a little more. But the queen here should be able to drive it away, and TLO should be able to continue that creep spread. His third base down, should be looking for a fourth soon as TLO starts his own +1/+1, and the Baneling Nest coming down right away.
Really nice micro right there from TLO. Excellent spread on his lings. MaSa was not aware, but there was a very small number of lings. But because of how well they were spread out, just a really, really solid defense from TLO and able to prevent MaSa from getting in there. So nice defense from TLO in a little bit of a scary scenario against a strong micro player in MaSa.
Always got to be careful against those sneaky micro players. Those Hellions can just be so dang scary anywhere near your drone line. Fourth base for TLO now finishing up as his 1-1 is going to be way ahead of MaSa's. MaSa delaying those engineering bays just a little bit. But TLO keeping up with the Joneses there and keeping up on his upgrades. Lair Tech also about 3/4 of the way done. Now, Steadfast, what makes the most sense for TLO? If you see that number of Hellions, you know he's going bio because you've got the Overlord Scout in earlier. Do you at that point have the time to play to your strengths and try and focus on one special build? Or there's certain builds that the Zerg player is going to want to look to do that specifically repel this bio tank style?
Well, the beauty of the bio tank style, the Marine tank, is that there's nothing really that specifically shuts it down per se. Okay. It all comes down to mechanics. So it really is and there's a reason that it's been the favored matchup of so many fans for so long. Bio versus Mutiling Bane is such an exciting way to play. And it's an exciting matchup. And I think that is probably what we're going to be seeing. Now, TLO, actually, no, he's on a very low gas count. He's only on 3 gas right now. So we're not going to be seeing Mutas. It's just going to be Ling Bane.
Which makes sense now, because that's why he's grabbing, I think, might be partially why he's grabbing that early 5th base, because he's going to need the larva nice around there in the middle of the map. A little slow to respond is MaSa, and he's going to lose not 1, not 2, but all 5 of those Hellions, which is really frustrating. Eventually, of course, you're going to plan on losing those Hellions, but it's so nice to have him in this push for clearing out drones, and also for scouting and pressuring around the map. So, bit of a loss there for MaSa, and TLO's got to feel good about that.
Oh, absolutely. He has got to feel so good about that. And he's going to scout the push coming. MaSa is going to set these tanks up on the high ground. Very nice place for those to be. But, well, this is going to be a little bit of a tough push to make happen. Although, Bane speed's not yet done. And that is good for MaSa. Not amazing creep spread. Lings will come back to try and wrap around on top of these tanks.
And they're going to find it there, which is a bit of a misplay from MaSa, stepping a little too far forward with his bio there. Normally, of course, you want to be able to wrap that bio back around and save your tanks, but he was too busy clearing drones in the 4th base. 15 drones for 2 tanks. Steadfast, is that trade worth it for MaSa?
I would say that is a very, very good scenario for MaSa. Yeah, not prepared for it, TLO. And that's kind of the speed of MaSa. Even more drones are going to get picked off right now. 7, 8 more drones. This is such a rough scenario right now for for TLO. He's even going to lose this newest base. Meanwhile, big counterattack coming in.
Big counterattack. The wall not only open, but not actually completed there. Even if it were open, the Baneling's rolling in here, and MaSa not able to get out in time. Ho, ho, ho! SCV bodies flying left and right. Somebody call Sigourney Weaver. That looked ugly as hell. We've got a nice medevac control there nice medevac focus fire from TLO, but he is going to lose an awful lot of queens there.
Yeah, and, well, he's going to have a little bit of a tough time dealing with this overall. 25 SCVs have gone down in total. Well, there's no energy left on these medevacs, so the Lings actually will get on top of these Marines and take them out. Looks like +2 Carapace was never started for TLO. That is a pretty big problem, but both players just really had their economies reset there.
Reset is the right word for sure. If we check the units lost tab, you'll see that both players have lost almost equal number of workers here, but MaSa down to 3 bases, whereas TLO is still at 4. Of course, a Zerg player wants to be about 1 base up over a Terran player for most of the game anyway. So when you say reset, you're absolutely correct. More or less, the economy going to look very similar. Slightly in favor for TLO here, but I think once MaSa drops this 3rd base, cute little burrowing there from TLO. Once he drops this 3rd base, he should have a good chance of evening up the odds. Oh, nice surround of those tanks, though. Yikes.
Yeah, TLO is not going to allow MaSa to retake this third base, and MaSa hemming and hawing a little bit with these Marines in the middle of the map. TLO, though, he has what he needs to defend back home. This is looking great for TLO to potentially send it to a game number 3. Banelings will connect pretty well with these Marines and will force them back up into the medevac. Oh, and look at this, a single burrowed Baneling. TLO making us fall in love all over again.
Terrifying as a Terran player. Yeah, he knows he can't do it. I was going to say MaSa just can't deal with the continued run bys there, and TLO is going to grab the game. Steadfast, I'll throw it back to you. Remember, we need to go to a quick break before game 3.
Yes, we do, and we will throw it to that break. Congratulations to MaSa, but yeah, that's gonna be a really really solid scenario right there for TLO. Just give us a moment here, and we will get that break screen up and at him. Oh, hip, oh, hip, oh, hip. 5 minutes on the timer. Let's go. All right, we are back once again. I should have some Creighton Olsen audio here. Why don't you try letting us know how you're doing?
Fingers crossed, Steadfast, that everything's working here for our final game of the day. How do I sound, besides sexy?
Well, you already stole the word I was going to use just right there. You're sounding
Excellent.
clear. There you go. You're sounding clear.
Thank you, Steadfast. Well, guys, this could not be a much more exciting match. Not only do we have a game 3, I was just checking the Liquipedia page, Steadfast. Not only is TLO MaSa going to game 3, but Nina Azuna is going to game 3, Pili Pili Future is going to game 3, and Rob Estrella went to game 3 as well. All 4 of our final NA matches here going to a decider game as we hop in to see which of these remaining 5 players is going to qualify for those coveted 4 remaining spots. We know Azuna has qualified in number 1. We're now waiting to see the other 4 players and where they fit in. MaSa's got to win this one.
He sure does, and we are getting into Pillars of Gold right now, seeing if he can give himself a chance in this one. Let's get into it. All right, and we have spawning down in the bottom left position of Pillars of Gold, the Blue Terran player. It is representing Alpha X Esports, MaSa.
And his opponent in the top right-hand side in the red, representing Team Liquid, our German player, Dario Vush. Give it up for TLO.
Going to be going for a 16 pool here. Getting a little bit sneaky, as it were. That's pretty nifty.
As a competitor, Steadfast, how do you feel about shenanigans in game 3s? I'm always confused by those. I always feel like game 3 is the time to be serious, to buckle down, and unless you're really confident in your cheese, you don't go for it here in a game 3 when everything's on the line. How do you feel about TLO going for something a little bit sneakier?
I actually really like it, especially against a player like MaSa, who is also shows a proclivity to do the same thing, get a little bit weird, a little bit cheeky. And the beauty of the 16 pool build is that it's not necessarily an all-in. You don't have to commit massively with it. And it's actually not going to be a 6-ling build. This is actually just going to be a couple of lings. And, well, he may actually build a Roach Warren here. We'll see in just a little bit.
It's going to be a full saturation on the gas, and I think the reason you suspect it might be a Roach Warren is, of course, because he's full saturating the gas, and we'll need to keep an eye on those drones and see when they're pulled out of gas, right? If he pulls 1 or 2 drones out of gas, likely not going to be early Roach Warren. If he leaves all 3 in, that'll be an indicator. Is that correct?
Most likely, yes. That we did see a little bit of a kind of fancy micro with those lings, hoping to deny the scout, but now they're actually splitting around the map, looking for anything from MaSa. But it's actually just going to be an easy. Oh no, he's not going to scout in here. Okay, very interesting. And there we go. The Roach Warren comes down.
Excellent skipping, ling speed, skipping. Overlord speed, skipping a third base in favor of that early Roach Warren. Now, is this going to be the 4 Ravager push I've heard so much about, Steadfast, where you build about 4 Roaches, turn them into Ravagers, and try and take down either the bunker at the front or even get that CC if you can?
It could very well be that. He does have... Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Wow. All right, then. So, no, it's not going to be that, to answer your question. Oh... All right.
What's going through TLO's head there? Why do you build that and cancel it? Why has he not started the 3rd yet? What's going on here with TLO?
Okay, I think he saw that bunker at the front and then was like, you know what? I've already forced a response. There's a good chance that if I try this, it's not happening. I'm going to just chill, and I'm going to just play it out from here. And, well, the fact that he's still mining gas is a little bit curious to me at this point. He may want to go for some kind of 2-base tech, maybe a 2-base muta. Could go for that, another one of those Nidus Worm builds, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's always tough to tell with these players, you know? We've seen so much trickery going on in this game. It's just... they're all just playing so many weird builds, not just this series, Steadfast, but I mean, what? We've cast 4, 5, 6 series today, right? And I feel like in 4 of them, I've seen exceptionally novel builds and just a lot of strangeness happening.
Yeah, very strange stuff. Now, MaSa does get a pretty decent scout right there. He doesn't see the 4th gas, but seeing this setup of gases should angle him towards thinking Mutas. And, oh, look at this. We're going to be seeing a 2nd barracks, probably even a 3rd one, come down before expand. So we may very well see a 2-base push here coming out of MaSa.
Oh my god, 2-base bio against a 2-base, essentially. Muta play, well, 3-base Muta play here. The Hellions going to get in, won't see anything, will be driven away, so no damage there for MaSa, but he's being very wise at keeping these Hellions alive. He doesn't want to lose them like he did last game 1. I forget which game it was, when he lost his Hellions earlier and wasn't able to keep pushing across the map here. Good scan, though, and will spot those creep tumors at the expense of not scanning that Spire.
Yeah, that's a really, really unfortunate miss. TLO putting it in a nice, tricky little location. Unless these Hellions really commit in, they're probably not going to be able to find that Spire. And, well, MaSa, he is continuing with this 2-base push here. Got this engineering bait coming down here that will allow him to get, of course, the +1 attack as well as missile turrets to deal with these potential Mutas. And, yeah, this is, what do you think? What do you think about the Banshee, by the way?
I love Banshees for starters. One of my favorite units in the game. Up there with Concussive Shell Marauders. Absolutely love them. But right now, MaSa hasn't gotten quite enough done. He's diving very deep for this Banshee. One Queen is here. 2nd Queen should be here as well. He's got to get this Banshee out of here. Can't lose it that early, even for 5 drones. Just not worth it. Banshees are really valuable once you get 2 of them out, and especially in the late game. Especially in the mid game, they can help to drive back roaches, Nidus worms, really do a lot of overall, like, continuous damage on a Zerg ground force that's not ready for it yet. The scan will finally catch that Spire, and as you said, MaSa should be ready for it. Losing the Banshee is really tough. I like the play, but I really wish you wouldn't have lost that, man.
I think it was okay to go for that since he didn't commit to the cloak or the second Banshee.
Sure,
but it is a costly investment for sure. And well, we're gonna see this 2-base push is actually just gonna be kind of a 2-base. I mean, you do normally get a 3rd command center behind this, so that's not uncommon. But he only has the 1 tank so far. Am I missing something? No, it's just 1 tank, and that's going to make things a little bit more difficult for MaSa to try and get any damage done with this.
Yeah, lack of splash damage can be really tough, and a big problem right now is that he's not in his main base, and the missile turret's just not finishing up in time. Now, there's one of the main mineral line, there's one of the natural mineral line as well, but combat shields. Oh,
target it. Go for combat shields. Get it.
Thank goodness. Oh, TLO, I was so worried he was going to miss that one. Does very nice target firing, though, stopping those missile turrets from going down. The problem is that's allowed MaSa to set up a siege position outside his main base, and now picking off reinforcements is the main job of these mutas. TLO, though, got to expend a lot of energy microing both at home and at the main base of MaSa.
So far, this is looking really, really good for TLO in this scenario, but the 1 tank is in a really, really tough spot to deal with. +1 attack does finish up, and there's no upgrades for TLO. However, Baneling speed has now come online. Nice scan. That will clear out a good amount of creep, and is going to shut down vision, importantly, too.
Yeah, vision, of course, so key in these pushes, and if he's looking for a 4th base, it's going to be a little bit longer before he can grab it there. Nice cleanup here from TLO, though. Baneling's decent connections there, driving some of this away, but MaSa picking up most of his units. He's going to fake the drop in the main, maybe, but, oh, no, not even fake the drop in the main, just hiding those medevacs maybe to try and keep him alive for as long as he can. Wow, MaSa finally adding on that armory for his +2, but still only 1 engineering bay down for him, I believe. Yeah, so his upgrade's going to be way behind here if TLO keeps his foot on the gas and adds on another Evo chamber, as he should do. Still no 4th base for TLO, though. Still no 3rd base for MaSa. This is a very low econ game here. Both players trading blows.
Yeah, the loss of that combat shields was so brutal for MaSa here. He still hasn't even restarted it, and that makes these mutas so much more effective as well. Nice micro on that 1 muta, pulling it back, and he is going to take down that tank, and even getting the 1 tech lab that could be used for combat shields.
Oh, TLO is not giving up. He's never going to give up. He's never going to surrender. Much like the entire crew of Galaxy Quest, he knows better than that. The 4th base is down. Is that base off by 1 pixel? I believe it's off by 1 tile there in the 4th base. That's often an indication that a player is feeling a little bit stressed if they miss that by just 1, a little bit rushed. TLO, of course, microing his little heart out here. Surprising to see that mistake. But at this point, it's understandable because TLO is trying to micro so much. Hydralisk then going down back home, though, and whoa, he's going to go ahead and take this fight steadfast.
Yeah, he's going to pick off a tank. Won't be able to quite get the medevacs. Nice micro from MaSa to get out of there. But that is continuing to keep this third base from mining. And the longer TLO can deny that, the more awkward things get for MaSa, as TLO, he's fully saturated on 3 base right now. He is about to have this very janky 4th base coming online in just a moment.
I don't know about very janky. How about moderately janky? Slightly janky. Somewhat janky. 4th base out of TLO. The problem is, no matter how janky that 4th is, the 5th base is up now. Steadfast. My God, TLO, an absolute macro monster, going up to 70 drones. I bet we see him at 90 before this game's over.
It's possible. I mean, the thing that he doesn't want to kind of relinquish the initiative that he's gained in this game. Interesting decision, by the way. He went for +1 melee instead of +1 carapace on the single Evo chamber, and now we'll add on that second one. In fact, I was just going to say, I'd love to see a third Evo, and he's going to go for exactly that.
Wow, Nostra Steadfast over here. Calling stuff. I love it, Steadfast. Excellent work, man. And there it is. Carapace on the way, +2 melee, grooved spines for the Hydras, and the Hydra count beginning to get really scary. Hydras, of course, so essential with this Ling Bane play. Even with the Mutas out, putting some pressure on other locations, you want Hydras with your army to drive back Medivacs, because if the Medivacs can just pick up and drop Thors anywhere, they're going to get some big shots off, and we can see there, TLO's Mutalisks eating a big chop from the Thors there, going to have a lot of damage. That means they're out of the fight for quite some time. Oh, look at TLO's upgrades here. Steadfast, Burrow on the way again in game number 3.
I love it. I love it so much. He was really, really annoying with that burrow play. We didn't see any of the burrowed lings there. Nice little liberator in the main base, but it does mostly get shut down. Only 2 kills. MaSa needs more than that. But
Steadfast. Sorry to interrupt you, buddy. There's a lot going on here, but I did just want to give a score update that seems very important right now. Peely has upset Future 2-1, which means that if MaSa wins this, he moves on. He's got to win this game now.
Oh my goodness. He is in a really rough spot, but this is for all the marbles. Peely being the bro of all bros for MaSa right now. And, well, TLO, he is working hard right now to shut down MaSa's chances.
My God. Now, Nina and Asuna are also playing, but neither of those players can be knocked down, so it all comes down to this now. MaSa does have a chance to advance over his teammate, Alpha X teammate Future, if he wins this series 2-1. Oh my God, I'm so excited now. I'm so excited, Steadfast. 2-2 on the way for MaSa. Drilling Claws, a great choice against those the Ling Bane Muta. Drilling Claws are so pernicious, so difficult to deal with, but TLO's army count getting pretty scary here, 120 to 87.
Yeah, and nice usage of this medevac boost on these Thors, dropping them towards the army. But as you said, this is a very scary scenario for TLO, or for MaSa, I should say. TLO is maxed out on Ling Bane Hydra, and he is going to run in towards this base.
God, there's so much here, Steadfast. Even off creep, those Banes doing a huge amount of damage. 8 SCVs going to go down. And look at that. Oh, I love the control from TLO right now. Going back, not pushing forward with those Banelings. He knows that he can't really engage right now. Doesn't want to lose those Banelings for something stupid. Now, the second wave, not as efficient as the first wave, but still really nicely done by TLO there. Dislodging that third base yet again. TLO on 5 bases. MaSa on 2, basically.
Yeah, this is such a desperate scenario for MaSa. The timer is running out. He does have his own 2-2, and he's got +2 vehicle plating pretty far along right here. But TLO, he is playing such a magnificent game right now. Magnificent series.
There's the 4th base for MaSa trying to float over here. This is his only opportunity, really. He needs to get back in the game economically. At one point, TLO was 2,400 resources apart. Nice. At one point, TLO was 2,400 resources ahead, and he's still very similar. It looks like 10 drones going down. I'm going to guess there's a Widowmine drop somewhere on the map at the natural, maybe? Yeah, there it is. Widowmine drop, taking out 10, 12 drones. But that's not going to be enough. Even though TLO's drones are down, it's like that meme. Oh my God, TLO. What? TLO! What?
Oof. Big oof. But he is not relying on those mutas. He did transition into the Ling Bane Hydra. Now, that's still costly. He did not want to just lose those for free. He would have liked to get some value out of them. But it's not the end of the world. He still does have Hive done. He's got his Ultralisk Cavern on the way. He's got Adrenal Glands far along. His triple Evo upgrades, he's on 2-1-2. He's got +2 attack on the way and +3 melee. He can start up that +3 Carapace as well. And, well, MaSa's trying to secure a 4th base right now, and TLO's not going to let him at all. This base, oh my God, he finds the medevacs too, and the base is going to go down. What a disastrous little setup here for MaSa.
A huge win for TLO there. Cannot be overstated. Even though he lost all those Butalisks earlier, he's going to be just fine. As you said, already remaxed on Ling, Bane, Hydra. Just sucks to lose those Butalisks for no cost at all. But look at this. Trading Hydras and Banes for Thors. What a fungal growth there. Nice save by MaSa on that forward Thor. We see some more medevac drops. It looks like Widow Mines, I'm guessing, at the third base there, causing some more consternation. Queen's going to clean that up with the Spore Crawler, able to detect them. 3-3 on the way now for both players. But Ultras, the name of the game for TLO. Now, Steadfast. How do you feel about Ultras right now against the 3-3 bio? What does the count for MaSa look like? And what does TLO need to accomplish with these Ultralisks that he hasn't been able to accomplish quite yet with Lingbane Hydra?
Well, they just add a lot of power to your army. They tank for the Lingbane Hydra very effectively. If they ever connect with the Bioforce, it's really, really good. They pair very well with the Fungal Growth, which TLO has shown a couple of already. They're just really powerful units. And yeah, I think it's a great decision, a great add-on to the army.
I love that he's not overcommitting to it either, right? Just 2 for now. Just start with 2. See if you can force too many Burrowed Banes.
Yes.
Oh, come on, buddy. Yes. No Raven, of course, out for MaSa, because why would you? So Burrowed Bane's not going to get caught here. Beautiful fungal growth there, destroying that entire army. And again, the 4th CC of MaSa forced to lift off here. There's a couple Thors on the side, but they're not going to be enough here. TLO pushing in from 2 angles at once, and Steadfast, he's going to win on both fronts.
Yes, he is. And with that, MaSa runs out of steam and runs